and I'll post the recording to our team. So first we're going to take the Sculpey out of the plastic. It should be a little wedge of clay like this. It doesn't really dry out that fast, so you don't have to really cover it up. But what you want to do is you just want to take a tiny pinch of clay, maybe enough that would fit between your two fingers. And then really what I'll tell you to do is that you want to form it into like a little tiny ball. And you can sort of, just like you were making a meatball, the best way to do this is to make sure that you have no cracks or little crevices. You see like that little indentation right there? We want to kind of smooth things like that out. It doesn't need to be a perfect sphere, but we don't want little bumps or little folds or cracks. Because if you have a little fold or crack, what's going to happen is as you make this, it's only going to get a little bit bigger. Now from here, once you have that little tiny little ball, what I want you to do is you can start kind of pinching it to sort of make it look a little bit more like a football. So you can see I've made mine a little thinner this way and a little rounder that way. So I'm going to just start pinching this a little bit to sort of make it almost into a flattened out football. So it's a little thinner and a little rounder this way. And again, I'm looking that any little cracks or bumps that get made along the way sort of get smoothed out. All right? Once you get it to a place where you think like it's almost approximately the same size as what you're seeing down here, and again, yours can be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, then I would start pinching one end between my fingertips to kind of make one side a little pointier. All right? And again, as I'm working, I'm avoiding making any cracks, crevices, or little sort of indentations, just trying to keep it smooth. Trying to come up with something that looks like a little bit of a teardrop, maybe even like a woman's fingernail, something that is perfectly round on the sides. And again, they're going to vary in size, but I want to keep the size kind of uniform. So the little chart I made for you here will kind of help you out. If you're way smaller than that or way bigger than that, then you should really either take some clay off and remake it or add some clay on and try to make it larger. I can also kind of hold it up to this and kind of see. And again, I could work a little bit to kind of make it look a little more pinched, but ultimately, this is the form that we're trying to make. The clay, you could see the little slab of clay. I was able to make one of these with really not that much clay. What I'm asking from each of you is to make at least at minimum 5. Why 5? Well, it's a number I picked. But I think with 5 times you'd have a little bit of experience on how to make it. You should get pretty decent at making them. If you want to make more, every single one that you make beyond 5, I will give you extra credit for. So again, we roll them up into the little ball. We try to make sure they're nice and smooth. All right, you see no little cracks or crevices. We start flattening that out a little bit, almost like a little jelly bean or little type of tiny little football. All right, see that it's approximately the same size as the little cutout that I gave you, and then we're going to pinch this thing on one end until it kind of becomes almost like a teardrop. All right, once you get going and get used to this, you might have to try to do this a few times to get the first one right. But once you get going, you should find it relatively, not that difficult to do, but set them up and make them. Now, once you've made your 5, or if you want to make 6, 10, 11, whatever, then we need to bake them in an oven. What I would tell you is I've given you a piece of foil in your bag. You should put all of your work on the foil, and then you need to bake it in the oven for 15 minutes at 275 degrees. When they come out, they'll be really, really hot, but you let them cool, and at that point, once they cool down, they're actually hard sort of plastic. If you really tried, you could break them, but they really aren't like moldable or anything anymore. From there, once you take them out of the oven, I've given you a Sharpie in your bag, and then you could actually, with the Sharpie, color these things in a little bit to make them look like sunflower seeds. They used a very old type of pigment to paint them on. We're going to use Sharpie. So you don't really want to color them all black. Kind of like to leave the edges of them a little white. You can make some stripes in them if you've never seen sunflower seeds. But you would then decorate them a little bit with your Sharpie after you've cooked them. And then what I'd like you to do is set them all up, take a couple pictures of them. When you take pictures of them, I want you to take them up close. All right, make sure I could see all of them nice and focused. Maybe I could see one or two of them really close up so I could see any of the detail that you put them in. And that will be our project. I'm going to post